I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, sticking up without the same mistake. Darling, where you going? It won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys, it is Old Man G here, RDS here, back again, and another day, another Manchester United loss. Manchester United won, Brighton 3, and obviously, everyone knows Brighton fully deserve that win. Congratulations to them. But remember, if you are new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter. You have to exit and smash that notification button to get notified when we're live. So get those likes up as well. It's gonna be an interesting session. It's gonna be a long session. So, but yeah, guys, that was a difficult watch. I'm not gonna lie. Who's in the chat? Actually, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the chat, guys. Come on, don't keep me company. Mohammed says Glazers are staying based. I assume it's a Liverpool fan. Well, Liverpool didn't play particularly well today, personally, but they got the job done. Fair enough. It is what it is. We'll see what happens when the Europa League starts. Saw that one coming, as did I. We missed Anthony and yes, Mount. Terrible matchup for us when we're not at full strength. Bayern will be better. Trust the manager. Okay, thank you for that. Yep, I'll come to that point because, I do think that the midfield, just over the games, it's weird. Like, I think the midfield was an issue last season. But if I'm honest, I said it on Twitter, I think we sold our best midfielder. And our best midfielder, whatever people want to say, I think our best midfielder was Fred. And what I mean by that is not that Fred was necessarily the most technically gifted or the best, but what I mean is he was the most hardworking and fit and fast. Casemiro, Bruno, Ericsson, and McTominay are, especially the latter three, are all slow and don't really track back. And we're missing that energy in our midfield, that engine. We don't have an engine room. So hopefully maybe Amrabat comes in and does something. I'm hoping that Amrabat makes a difference. So, but anyway, I think that one of the big things you got to say is that, we started to see them poorly, but is it really a surprise when there's a lot of reaction going on? And I'm going to get into what Ten Hag did wrong, what the players did wrong, etc. in this game, and a lot of things that the players did wrong. But having actually just sort of spent some time before reacting angrily, going live, and it's why I do these delayed match, post-match reactions. At the end of the day, when you look at what's going on around the Manchester United Football Club, the sales situation, the way that Greenwood's target was handled, the Anthony situation, and now obviously the Sancho situation, we have a situation. We've got chaos around this football club. Okay, you then combine that with the fact that the signings that we should have had compared to other clubs that got the signings early, they were staggered in, and then you then add on to the fact that a certain amount of those players were injured. Aside from, I think, Onana, what player that we actually signed this season was readily available to play for at least 10 games? We signed Amrabat. Oh, Amrabat's injured. We signed Haaland. Okay, he's injured. Although, big up Haaland, I'll speak to him later, by the way. We signed Mount. 2 games in, he's injured. Onana's the only one. Really, I can't think of, unless I'm missing anybody. I'm not counting Reguilon as a signing, although he did okay today. But I can't think of any. I can't think of any. You know, so if you put things into context, aside from Onana and Haaland today, we didn't have any of our signings. And so you got to think, okay, so do any of those two players improve improve our starting 11? Onana, great, great on the ball. But at the end of the day, when you have the caliber of defense midfield they have in front of him that can't use the ball well, he's not going to be that much useful. I don't think he's necessarily a better shot stopper than he's not a better shot stopper than De Gea either. So we are where we are. You know, we are where we are. That's all I can say, guys. We are where we are. Ever since you came on Blue Stadio to Lava Chelsea, it's gone downhill for you boys. Well, I mean, if you're a Chelsea fan, Cruz Banter, what I would say is that, like, you should probably focus on Chelsea Football Club right now, because Chelsea have not played today, and if you guys lose against Bournemouth, you guys have a hell of a lot of tough. At least United are going into a run of fixtures, next 4 or 5 that are winnable fixtures and bottom half teams. You guys, if you're a Chelsea fan, your next 7 games after Bournemouth are against the top 7, 8 from last season. So I would kind of relax about that, because you could potentially Chelsea battling relegation in a few weeks. Big up Rasmus. How crazy is it to see a Spurs flop was one of our best players, if not the best? I don't think that's crazy at all, Rasmus. I don't think that's crazy at all. I mean, you know, big up Hannibal, man. I've been waiting for Hannibal to get a debut, and like you saw, and Hannibal, what, you know, Hannibal comes on, and what a G. I get he was celebrating, he was excited. I was like, yeah, and I felt bad for him, because I was like, I wish you could have scored when we were winning, the team was playing, because like you could see what it meant to him to score his first goal at Manchester United. He throws Hannibal on, boom, we get a G. I'm like, fair enough, Hannibal, and it was a good goal. You know, that's if I go on one of the positive today. So, but you know, this is the thing I'm trying to say, is that, like, actually look at the context of this game before people say, why would this? Like, but just think for a second, slow down for a second. Okay, the team last season compared to team this season, aside from Rasmus and Onana, what else was there? So that's the context. Okay, we're still waiting on Amrabat to come up with injury. Mount, to be honest, would have been actually very useful in this game, with just his pace and his energy, etc. His actually ability to press. He would have actually been really useful in this game, but he wasn't available. So I don't want to be as reactionary as I think a lot of people are already, because I want to see how Manchester United are when we at least are at full strength, when he has his players at his disposal. When Amrabat is there, when Mount is there, you know, and so on. We'll see. Obviously, Anthony, you know, might be back. I don't really think Anthony would have done well to this game. But I mean, if we're looking at the game from start to finish, I think the first thing to say is that, I think Rasmus makes this point actually, is that today's pressing was disgraced. Most of the time, no pressure. They were walking while Brighton pressed the ball ahead of us. Even Onana wasn't left alone. So unlike against Arsenal last time, when I was surprised, Arsenal didn't really press us that much. They showed us a lot of respect at the Emirates, which I found a bit odd. Brighton didn't respect us today. Brighton knew that they could they knew our game plan. They could press the hell out of us and cause us tons of issues. And United just didn't do it. United players looked tired again, and I'm like, and I still don't understand why. I still don't understand why these Manchester United players look tired. And the only reason I can put it to is because the midfield was trash, basically. The midfield was full of slow players that couldn't move the ball, and at one point it felt like United's tactics seemed to be just hoof the ball up to Rashford and get him to run. So, you know, Onana, yes, because I'm seeing a lot of people, from what I've seen on Twitter, a lot of criticism is on Onana because he couldn't save the goals. He should have done better, which I'm like, okay, but why in about 2 or 3. I think 3 of the goals, maybe at least 2 of them, was did no one track back the runner? I don't get that the space. McTominay and Ericsson notoriously. This is why I'm saying, like, this is why I'm like, it's difficult. Like, I do miss Fred. I miss that type of a player, someone who switched on like that. Because Casemiro, for whatever it is, being the Brexit, he looks finished. Casemiro hasn't had a good game at all, and we're missing that player because Casemiro is getting bypassed. The whole McTominay and Ericsson aren't tracking back, so that's where we are. That's where we are, guys. If I was saying, I blame the midfield for the sort today, just like I blame the midfield for to a certain extent for Spurs as well. The defense goes on Arsenal. But we had Maguire and Evans in defense. So, I don't. If you I'm not saying the defense covers us in glory, but fair play to Reguilon. I don't think Dalot particularly had a bad game, at least for 2 of the goals. When you're playing, okay, Martinez probably could do better instead of getting sat down on, doesn't have to commit himself. Okay, but you just got to give it to Pascal. That's just a good, brilliant piece of skill. But if at least someone is tracking Gross and not just that's what I didn't understand. That's what I didn't understand. He's been tracked back. Okay, so he's not been like the amount of space. This happened again. It happened against Arsenal for the goal that Odegaard scored. It happened again in the FA Cup final. The amount of space that's left on the just outside the 9-yard box to just allow someone to track it and take a pot-up goal is ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. So, you go into the attack. Okay, yes, he tried. I wasn't surprised that he didn't start Palestri. He said we're going to try a tactic. We tried and change, presuming that was a diamond formation, but it killed our width. And I think that made Haaland's job difficult today, if I'm perfectly honest, especially given the fact that Rashford, for whatever reason, refuses to look up, and the only chance he did, he went out. Now, I still think that wasn't definitively out. Okay, I still think that wasn't definitively out, but it is what it is. You don't get the decision. That's it. I'm not going to blame refs or things or something like that today. You don't get the decision. It is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. But Rashford, I'm sorry, but I've been tired of it for a few years now. It's like this run to the merchant dribbling. I get it. Running the fullbacks, it does help us, but at the end of the day, we're playing with number 9 now. And Rasmus, for one of the positives today, in fact, that's one of the things that I feel Ten Hag got massively wrong today. I do not understand why he took Rasmus Haaland off. Rasmus's link-up play was good. His ability to hold the ball was good. His positioning have a bit of work, but for me, he did more than what Anthony. I don't really understand what is it just to keep the players happy? What did Anthony Martial did nothing? Or you bring on Anthony Martial. I don't know, what was it? Were we 3-1 or 2-1 down, 2-0 down at that point? You bring on Martial and you keep Haaland on. We need to get a goal. So you either take Rashford off because he's been crap, which you didn't. You let him play because he's on 300k a week now, or you bring him on. Maybe what you can do is you can actually take off Ericsson, put Rashford onto the right, and put Martial onto the left, and keep Haaland through the middle, and then bring Bruno and tell Bruno to basically hold on to Casemiro and keep McTominay on, for example. Maybe put McTominay further forward, whatever. You need to take one of the slow midfielders out at the very least, and he doesn't do that. So for me, Ten Hag's in-game management. That's why I got Ten Hag was so poor in the thing. Ten Hag's in-game management was bad. It was diabolical. It wasn't good at all. And you look at McTominay what exactly did he do? He didn't do anything. He didn't affect anything. You know, he didn't. You know, I mean, for Scotland, yeah, when he goes forward, etc., but he didn't affect anything whatsoever. Why is he playing? And hopefully, I'll be honest, I hope he doesn't play. I hope if Ten Hag's going to persist with this diamond, make sure that you put Amrabat in there. You know, make sure if you're going to persist with this diamond, Ten Hag, then okay, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, and then Bruno. Fine. That has at least a bit more mobility in that in that midfield. So that's why, you know, it's what I'm saying. I want to just hold it, relax a bit, see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's a disappointing result. We go again. I'm not particularly, you know, you do have to ask, okay, you lose to Brighton at home, and then you lose to Bayern, and then, you know, it's a mentality thing now. And as we've said already, for this club, these players don't have a winning mentality. Their mentality is bad. You know, we almost beat Arsenal at the end, or we almost beat it. Then we go from potentially 2-1 to, and playing quite well, you know, to because to be honest, like against Arsenal, I think we played quite well. We played quite well generally against Arsenal, but then we had defensive issues, and then we had to bring and then you bring on Maguire and Evans. So there is something to be said. I'm not Ten Hag out or anything like that, but there is something to be said about Ten Hag's game management. It's been bad. It has been. You know, I'm sorry, but you don't bring on Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans to see out a game away at the Emirates to see if you're going to get a point. That's not going to happen. I get it that who was it that got injured? Lisandro. I don't think even he was injured, to be honest. I think he just wanted off because he wanted to play for Argentina. But you take one centre back off, you leave Lindelof on, play Magaluf. That's fine. You can't play Maguire and Evans. And then today, the substitutions and then how he ended just made zero sense. It's like through the kitchen sink. It's like frustration, you know. So I don't know. I think that Ten Hag's game management has to improve massively. Especially if we're going to play against make sure you like the big guys that are 30 watching. Let's get a 30 likes. Get those likes up, guys, please. We're almost close to 4K subscribers as well, so 10 more to 4K. So if you're new, subscribe to the channel, comment below. We're almost at 4K, so it'd be really good if we could get to 4K. That'll make my mood a hell of a lot better. Let's have a look. And Telters are at times exactly like taking Rashford out when we need, exactly as I was saying, playing Bruno defense, not starting Palestri. And that's the thing. I'm like, you know, I kind of knew that he wasn't going to start Palestri. I don't know why. He didn't. But you know, if it's going to be this new diamond, because I know Ollie tried to play diamond before and it worked somewhat when he actually had mobile players, aka Fred. And when you can understand how you need to play almost McTominay Fred to protect the back, but you know, if Wan-Bissaka comes in, does he make a difference? You know, no, not really, because if I'm honest, all the goals that we scored came straight from our they came straight from our midfield. They didn't really come down from the wings, as Rasmus said. Reguilón actually did okay. You know, if I'm going to look at the positives of this game, Reguilón did okay for someone who's brought as a backup left back. So that's encouraging. You can make an argument, do you start him and Wan-Bissaka against Bayern away? Haaland for me looks good and can improve. You know, almost scored his first goal for Manchester United, but it was out of play. But to be honest, Rashford should do better. And Rashford should be seeing Haaland more, but he looks good. He's quick, he's fast, he can bully the defenders. Like a number 9, we're missing much. You just like, it's just a shame that we don't have another actually good striker. I'm sorry, Martial, to mentor him, etc. Because the guy is good. He is good. You know, we play better with him. You know, so You know, if you somehow bought Kane and Haaland, then that you go like that. But we didn't do that, and we're relying on him to score goals, and he can't score goals if he's not being supplied. And that's the reality of Haaland today. He wasn't supplied at all. We were dead on the wings because obviously we're playing a diamond, so our width was just completely nullified. And when we could give on a chance, Rashford couldn't be bothered to pass. So there you go. So some of it is on the players, I must confess, but you're right. You know, you wonder why he didn't take off Rashford and put on Palestri, for example, to the right, Garnacho, all the rest of it, you know, when he did, I don't know. And then the other positive is Hannibal Mejbri. Big up Hannibal, man. Like I said, you know, I wish you'd scored under different circumstances because obviously it's your first goal. Let him celebrate, etc. You know, so like the enthusiasm, but obviously we're 3-0 down at this point. But, you know, it was a brilliant goal, you know, and hopefully, you know, we can see more of Hannibal. But, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, you know, we're seeing players. I've noticed this. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the culture. But we're seeing players that when you bring in young players into the team, when you bring in players that have not been at United for a while, they initially perform quite well. And it's almost like the longer they stay with the senior team, the more that gets sucked out of them. Like it's almost like the senior team of vampires. Like you look at this, like you look at the senior players today. What did they do? What did Rashford do? What did Bruno do? What did Casemiro do? They didn't do anything. Those to me are what I would class as the senior players at Manchester United. Because you know, Anana hasn't been there for long, Regan hasn't been there for long, and so on. That your core Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford, the senior players. You know, you can maybe throw McTominay in there. What exactly did they do? They did nothing. That's what. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Obi Moderna says the coach is not wired for the EPL period. Yeah. I think it's. This is what I'm saying. I think people need to relax. I think people need to relax a little bit. So get those likes up, guys. Come on, we've got 40% watching. It doesn't cost you much. Just get those likes up, please. I will post a link for those who want to come on and have their say in a bit. So I'm gonna just quickly will give my thing, but I'll post a link into the chat in a bit if you want to come on and have your say about the game. Also, McTominay, what? Yeah. Raymond, might as well play Sancho. Everybody's crap anyway. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I would say play Palestri. Play Palestri. Why not? Why didn't he play Palestri? So, you know, and this is the thing. This is the thing, Raymond. It's like I don't actually think that everyone was crap. I think the senior players were crap. And I also like if I were to look at the starting 11 right now, Onana, okay, you know, I'm not sure. I just think it's just the manners. I think our fullbacks were fine. I bet they had to. I bet the diamond formation kind of killed the width. Lindelof and the defense, the centre weren't great today, but I don't really put the blames on all of them because you know you can't just keep on allowing players to just bypass the midfield and go. This is the same thing that happened when we had how many goals, how many chances conceded? Was it 20 plus at Wolves at Old Trafford? You know, the issue is the biggest issue at Manchester United, in my opinion, is the midfield. That's the biggest issue. You know, so you know, but you look at the midfield and forward onwards. All the midfield players, McTominay, Eriksen, Bruno, and Casemiro, all crap today, all crap. And then you throw in Rashford into that crap, not good enough. Haaland was the only attack, in my opinion, that gave himself some positivity, and unlucky on the goal, which in my opinion should have stood. But Rashford needs to do better. Like it just is what it is. Nebili Burbu says, Nepli says, today, right now, I'm in a medical center because of this fucking club. Sorry. Like, I see a lot of Nigerians in the chat. Big up you guys. Chief 7 says, shout out to Hannibal, Rashford too. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Big up Hannibal. That's what I want to speak on the positive, because if you're going to, yes, okay, it's a bit, but we have to focus on the positive because we need to take these positives going forward. You know, that was a brilliant finish by Hannibal. Like, brilliant finish. So he should be rewarded. And that's the thing that I want to see within this club. And that's why, as much as I was against Sancho on the thing, at the same time, I also want to see Ten Hag actually reward competent performances. So Hannibal did that. Hannibal, you're on the flight to Bayern. You know, you're now part of our midfield trio, or you know, a part of that part of the of who we can rely on. You know, because we don't have Kobe, he's not here. So you know, you want a mount replacement, whatever you want a mount replacement, you've got Hannibal. We don't need to play Christian Eriksen or necessarily Scott McTominay all the time when you have that. You know, so we should be rewarding those things. And I'll be more frustrated if Ten Hag continues to, because Oli did this as well. And this is what's concerning me a little bit, you know, whereby it's not necessarily a favoritism thing, although it kind of is, but it's also kind of like this idea that managers do where they feel like they can constantly rely on senior players to try and perform and keep on playing them into form when actually they're not giving you results and they can cost you your job. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, and sorry, Ten Hag won't last another summer if he can like this. How that Rashford played 90 minutes, I don't know. I don't know how he did. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'll be real. United aren't challenging for any title. Let's keep it start. I actually think City are going to win the title again. You just see how they're unbeaten for destroying teams. City basically are going to win the title. So that's the first thing. I don't think Amrabat will necessarily change us tactically, but what I think he'll do, like Fred did, I think he's basically, hopefully, a better Fred. I.e., he will give us some actual mobility in that midfield. He'll actually try and tackle players. He'll actually try and close down players and not let players run. I still remember that, obviously, that Mbappe rundown. So he clearly has pace to do that because he was able to run all the way back and track Mbappe. So we need pace in our midfield. We don't have it. You know, like I keep on saying this a lot of times. Like for me, like if put tactics and technical ability aside, just fitness and speed in the Premier League for me is above everything. Because it doesn't matter how technically good you are, if someone's quicker than you and they can carry the ball quicker than you, it doesn't matter. And the reality is the four midfielders that play today were all dead slow to react, slow to intercept, slow to respond. You know, so we need to inject some form of pace into that. You know, you have to have pace in defense, pace in attack, pace in. That's just how it is in the Premier League. And if you have ability, like saying, for example, Mbappe, for example, great. But you need that. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. You know. So hopefully we can find a fix before Bayern, because if we don't find a fix before Bayern, we're gonna be spanked, because we can't. I hope Ten Hag at least looks at this and goes, we can't have this team against Bayern. You bring Wan-Bissaka has to come in, and you have to sort something about that midfield. If Amrabat's available, put him in. If Amrabat's not available, I don't know. Maybe you try McTominay and Castman and Bruno and put Eriksen to the bench. We can't have a diamond situation thing. We have to, against Bayern away, we have to be like Moyes, dig deep and counterattack. That for me is the only way. That for me is the only way. Mads, that's the only way. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. If you're new, we're obviously seeing a lot of new faces here. Please smash a like, guys. Smash a like if you're new. It goes away. Let's get those likes up, guys. 4+ people watching. Get those likes up, please. We are almost at 4K subscribers, so I'd really, really appreciate it if you could get those likes up, guys. Let's go to the player ratings, guys. Let's go to the player ratings, because and then I'll post a link in for those who want to have a say. But yeah, we weren't good enough today. We lost to Brighton 2-0. Last season at home, and we lost them 3-1. They are a better team than us. Obviously, we beat them in the game that matters, which was the FA Cup, but still, we didn't win it though. But at the end of the day, you know, we need to do better. The only thing, like I said, the positive I'm holding on to is the fact that, like, I was hoping that Spurs would lose today. They didn't. You know, if you want to keep a stack, all of our rivals, as it were, are playing easier games. Chelsea are playing, obviously. Chelsea are playing Bournemouth. Let's have a look. Yeah, actually, what's happened to Newcastle? Huh. I don't know what the Newcastle score is, but okay. But yeah, if I look at the rival, Chelsea away to Bournemouth, again, easy game for them. Spurs against Sheffield United, you know, who somehow, and this is what this extra time sort of extra thing comes in. They should have won the game. They weren't. Spurs win that. City come back from behind, beat West Ham. Liverpool beat Wolves, and you'd think that Arsenal probably going to beat Everton away, and Newcastle. I don't know what the Newcastle score is. So I'm looking at this, and pretty much all the rivals are probably. I don't know about Brentford, but these probably will win. But we need to, at the end of the day, and I've said this at the start, it's just that United are United. We're not challenging for anything. So what exactly is the aim for the season? And the aim is to basically secure CL football for next season. That's the aim. Or you don't get it, and hopefully the Glazers are forced to sell. Either or. But unfortunately, these four games, you're like, there's no way this club's team is challenging for any major silverware this season. That's, for me, that's always the sad thing at the beginning of the starts of this season, is that you look at this and go, no, we're not. Yes, of course. The next 4 games United have, we should basically be getting 12 points. We should be beat. We've got very good. And I think this is what I'm going to judge Ten Hag more on, is that when you actually look, and I'll just quickly look, we'll see United's fixtures. When you actually look at next fixtures, we've got Burnley away. We should be winning. Crystal Palace at home. I don't care with Crystal Palace a bogey team. We should be beating Crystal Palace at home. Brentford at home, likewise. And then Sheffield United away. So we should be winning all these 4 games. Not to mention the fact that we've got Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 home games back to back. We should be winning them all. And then you then beat Sheffield. You then have another home game against Copenhagen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games. And then away to Sheffield United against fairly beatable opposition before you play City at home. Okay? Hopefully, by then we're in it, because I think we have Copenhagen home and away. But, you think, the hope is by the time we get to the end of October, United will have the confidence to go and play against City and hopefully get something from the game. That's the hope. But if we're losing any of these games, then it's gonna be squeaky bum time. It's gonna be squeaky time, because, like I said, the aim, at least as I'm concerned, is we've got to get 5th, and we're not going to be getting over City. Probably not Arsenal. The way Liverpool are going right now, probably not Liverpool either. Although, again, a lot of these clubs have not really faced stiff opposition as of yet. Spurs are looking good as well under Big Ange. Although, again, how frequently are they going to be able to do it, and so on. So I want to wait and see. I do think that the likes of the Europa League will affect teams like Brighton, Liverpool when injuries come. But yeah, there's a lot of soul searching that needs to be done. And we need a positive result against Bayern. Otherwise, I do worry that this mentality, when you're losing games, and as it happened under Ole, you lose them even if you're playing against teams you should beat. Football is a confidence sport. It's a confidence sport at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, if you are playing against teams and you even expect this one and you lose, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. It just is. 40 possibly watching. Again, make sure you like the vid, guys. Like the video and subscribe, please. Let's go to the player ratings, and then we'll get some of you on if you guys want to come on. In fact, let me put the link in the chat now for those who want to come on. Link is in the chat for anyone who wants to come on. But yeah, Yeah, it's not been great at all. It's not. Let's read some of your comments before we get into the player ratings. Ryan said Bayern, yeah. I don't expect us to beat Bayern. And to be honest, I think if we somehow were to beat them, it says more about Bayern than it does about us. I think. But yeah, I don't expect us to beat Bayern at all. The only way I can see it is if we basically somehow defend really deep and counter. That's it. And to do that, we need quick players on the counter. So you got to play. You got to play quick on the counter. None of this diamond crap. Just put out the ball to the wingers. Play 4-3-3. Play two holding midfielders in say Casemiro or Amrabat if he's available, or unfortunately you play McTominay there, and then play Bruno there, and then play Speedy, play Rashford, play Haaland, play maybe Palestri or someone else who's quick, Garnacho, whatever, and just long ball, counter it quick, and then that's it. That's the only way that I thought we could do until we can get something different. Mode says Rashford is more experienced. He's the one our youngsters look up to, but yeah, he's not been. We haven't been good enough. No, we haven't. And like I said, Solo. I mean, a big up Solo, by the way. Make sure you guys go and head up and subscribe to his channel, the Manchester United Agenda. Although he's not on there, kind of because he's busy. So, but support the lads. Yeah, I mean, we've not been. I can't remember a game we played, a convincing game we played or game or season. However, what I would say to caveat that, I caveat with three things currently. Number one, the issues off the field at Manchester United are not helping. We're down two right wingers, Greenwood situation, I've said, and the whole self situation. So that isn't happening. That's the first caveat. And the second caveat is that the reality is that aside from Onana, who really did we bring in that we signed someone that we brought has made any sort of change? They've not been available. Okay, you had Mount, but Mount played what, 2 games? Not 1.5. He played against the Wolves, which we won, and then did he play against? We played Spurs after that, wasn't it? Spurs, yeah. We played against Spurs. He got injured, and that was that. So and then Nottingham Forest. Did he play against Forest? I can't remember if he played against Forest or not. So and then you look at obviously Amrabat injured, Haaland injured. So I at the very least want to see what Ten Hag does when this team is at the very least at full strength. With injuries to Luke Shaw, to Varane, to Haaland, to Amber, etc. I want to see at very least, Ten Hag deserves to have a full strength United before he can be judged, and then we can go for it. But right now, with injuries to like almost half of his first team, it's difficult. It's difficult. I'm not saying he's right, because the game management is still crap, but I want him to at least have his best team available. Reguilon was my guy today. Yeah, Chris Reguilon. Shout out to Chris. Yeah, Reguilon was good. Reguilon was good. Reguilon was good. Reguilon was good. Which surprised me, actually. I think I would say that for me, when Reguilon did enough whereby I think he starts at left back. Starts him at left back and then bring Wan-Bissaka in at right back and do that. So I thought Dallon's, but now I didn't see much difference between him and Dallo. So for me, in terms of so Reguilon probably did more. So for me, yeah, I'm happy to start Reguilon as at left back, I'd say. I don't know how Christmas one's got so bad. Is he past it? I hope not too. But the only thing I'll say is that and this is why I think it's important that Kobe comes back. Because and this is again why I think that having a full squad is important, because if Kobe comes back and then Amrabat comes in, then suddenly you're in a situation where you can actually, if Casemiro is bad, you can bench him. You can bench Casemiro, because then you can play Kobe and Amrabat in the double pivot, and then you can play you can play Mount. To be honest, when I say that Kobe, Mount, and Amrabat, I'm thinking that midfield ain't that bad. Maybe put Bruno instead of Mount. That midfield ain't that bad. But when I say Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno, I'm like, oh, leggy, etc. But with Kobe and Amrabat, but is he going to play that? I don't know. Is he going to play that? Because when I see Kobe and Amrabat, I see two players that are going to be quick and mobile, that are going to be able to track back. They're going to be able to hold onto the ball. That maybe that might technically not be as good as Eriksen, for example, even a Casemiro, but they've got the energy to be able to, and there's balance there. So I don't know, Eddie, I've seen you back. I'm going to bring you in a second. I'll quickly read his comments and then we'll go to the player ratings. We lost 4-0 at home last season. Did we lose? Wait, what? Was it? I thought it was 2-0 at home. Let me double check that. Was it 4-0 or was it? I mean, you could make an argument. Let me have a look. I thought it was 2-0 for some reason last season when we played them. What was it? We beat them. Yeah, they beat us 4-0 at their crib. Last year in May. So that was before. Yes, that was before Ten Hag came in. Because that was 2020, but I'm fairly sure. Yeah, it was 4-0. It was because Ten Hag came in official manager it was September last year, so September 2022. Yeah, and then it came in. Yeah, so yeah, I think that was before Ten Hag came in. That was under Ragnick, I think. From what I remember. Regards to others and all in the chat, just pointing after the first 70 minutes, really toxic now. Yeah, I'm trying. We're entering. Let's relax. This is what I'm saying. Let's relax on the crisis for a second. Because I will say we're in a crisis if we're struggling to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. And I know people are going to say Brighton are a team we should beat, but the reality is Brighton have had a fantastic start to the season. A very good start to the season. They're well-organized club. They deserve to be like. The reality is I'm looking at clubs that are more organized, have a better director of football, have a better transfer policy than us as a whole picture, rather than just Brighton Football Club. The reality is Brighton are a much more organized football club and a more run-on football club than we are. I get concerned if we're now starting to lose to Everton, to Sheffield United, to Luton, to Burnley, to all these teams that we should beat. Because at the end of the day, if we beat all if we beat all the bottom 10 home and away, and we can somehow build confidence with our squad and get some points from when Arsenal come and Spurs come to Old Trafford, etc., then happy days. So I'm not going to say we're in a crisis yet, because a crisis for me is when we're losing against mid to bottom tier teams when we've actually got our players available. And right now, I want to see how this United squad plays when it's actually near to full strength at least, and so that's why these next 4 games for me are critical. How are we going to play against Burnley away? How are we going to play against Crystal Palace at home? How are we going to play against Brentford? How are we going to play? Because if we aren't winning these games, then yes, as far as I'm concerned, top 5. If we win the next 4 games, and somehow get a draw against Bayern on Tuesday, then you'll think, okay, we can build on that, especially with our players, fit players, hopefully coming back. Sebastian's RDS, man, I feel sorry for you. Ten Hag is on the hot seat. His weight improves, or will he be sacked? But some of these players, I don't think Ten Hag is going to get sacked. No, I don't think Ten Hag is going to get sacked, and unless he completely loses the dressing room. But it's clear the club has backed him, and he's going to be so far from 5th. Because at the end of the day, as we know, all the Glazers are interested in is, can you secure Champions League football? And ironically enough, this season right now, Champions League football is basically is fifth for the Premier League. It's going to be fifth because it's based on the coefficient of the previous year. So then City won it. So essentially, top 5 in the PL is going to get Champions League. So until it's mathematically impossible for us to get top 5, I think Ten Hag is it. Yep, I see you backstage, Kishan. I'll bring you in as soon as I speak to Eddie. Let me some comments. There's the ratings. Yep, I'm going to pin your comments. I want to come back to those ratings. I'm not surprised at Brighton 4-1 said big up Ilias, man. Ogwa says big up the Nigerians in the chat. They have to remove the name Red Devil. That name is the problem. maybe Juju tax. Ten Hag isn't a coach, no style of play, nothing. I mean, Dutch. Nah, come on. I'm afraid to start the end of Ten Hag Old Trafford. Reminds me so much about what happened to Ollie. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's still a bit too early, and like I said, I want to see, because at the end of the day, the only 2 players I saw that we got from the summer was Onana and Haaland. I want to see Mount. I want to see Amrabat. I want to see how these dudes. I want to see Kobe. I want to see Ten Hag's men and see what happens, and then make a decision. You know, his signings have been horrible. They barely played though. This is what I'm saying. They barely played though. If you think about it, Cruz. Like, look at the goals that we conceded. Okay, Eriksen, Casemiro. So our midfield, sorry, Bruno. He didn't sign Bruno. I'm a Thomas from the academy. No one was cussing Casemiro or Eriksen. Okay, people love Casemiro Eriksen. So what's their fault? Okay, Martinez is a World Cup winner. Okay, who else? Rashford, was that his signing? So I don't know. When you gonna wake up from this Ten Hag is that, well, I want to wait and see. I want to wait and see and see how he plays against those teams. And at the end of the day, you've got to. The thing is, you also got to think of 2 things as well. Is that 1, do you really want United to return to a cycle? And 2, realistically speaking, what manager right now, if anyone is Ten Hag out, and we'd be surprised if anyone is, what manager right now is going to come in and change the situation? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's be fair and proper for a second. Like, the off-fields, you can blame Ten Hag for Sancho if you're going to blame that, go there. But is he responsible for the Ante situation? I don't think so. Was he responsible for the Greenwood situation? I don't think so. And obviously the whole sale debacle. So, you know, come on. We can't do this, because at the end of the day, like, it's too easy to be like, another manager comes in and does something and like, oh, look at this manager, look at this. Yeah, I've heard this all before. And the reality is, the only successful manager, I'll be honest, that's been successful manager since while United's been in crisis, has been Pep, with Klopp to a certain extent, trailing. That bump on Ten Hag's head's getting bigger. I saw Don Rag. Are you Ten Hag out? Are you Ten Hag out? Let me know in the chat if you're Ten Hag out, because I'm seeing a lot of Ten Hag angst. Don't be surprised if we do beat Bayern Munich, mate, because these players, when they want to turn up, when they don't feel like it, they stick the finger up their backside. I mean, and to be fair, that's a good point. I don't think we will, because Bayern are at home in the Allianz, although Bayern can be bricks sometimes. But you know, there is something to that, and that's the thing, and that's why I'm kind of like, you know, if the culture at the club is bad, like, this is the thing. It's like, what do you want? Because at the end of the day, if you're saying, oh, right, we need a manager that needs to come in and manage personalities to get the best out of players, but the only way to do that is to have a manager that caters to what the players want, then at the end of the day, you're basically just going to have a yes man to the players, and then you might as well just kept Ollie. We can't sort of say, oh, Ollie was too weak, he doesn't drop his players, he doesn't do this, doesn't check the blah, blah, blah. We need a disciplinarian, we need someone who has standards. And someone comes in who has standards and expectations, and we say, we can't. Come on. We hadn't lost at home last season. We didn't. Ten Hag has made a team for the Eredivisie, not the Prem. But again, this isn't going to be our starting. This isn't our strongest starting 11, in my personal opinion. And again, I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's just that I feel like context is important. We have a difficult first 5 games, having to play Brighton, Spurs, and Arsenal in our first 5, when other teams can play Luton, Sheffield, Bournemouth, Palace, etc. You know, so when we face those teams, you know, that's when I will make my case, and when those players come up, then fair enough. Okay. Oh, sorry, Cushion. I've been speaking. Otherwise, I've been speaking. Just trying to get rid of comments. And Eddie, I'm going to bring you in 5 minutes. Let me just speed with some of these comments. Last time Ollie was the coach. Yeah, but Brian weren't good. You know, Brian weren't good. We should not be conceding 3 at home. I mean, brother, we conceded what? 5 at home. 5 at home to Liverpool under Ollie. Like, I never get this thing until we shouldn't be like the last couple of managers. We like, if I go back to Jose, to Van Gaal, etc. I can show you, I can find games where we concede at home. Like last season, to be honest, was an anomaly because we had such a good home record. Burnley is next. We can't lose to Burnley. We can't lose to Burnley. And looking at Burnley's form, we shouldn't. Draw against Burnley, loss against Bayern, win against Palace, draw against Brentford. But we have to beat Burnley away. We should beat Palace. I expect the loss against Bayern. Brentford, we should win. We should win. Thingy dropped the link. I have dropped the link. Don't smoke. I have dropped the link. Man United lose to people lose to Burnley. What I hate, but yeah, but it's okay. I'm gonna address this point once. Sorry, Eddie, because you're waiting to come in. So he's commenting. This style of play stuff, I think, is overrated. Okay, style of play. It's about results at the end of the day. Moyes' style of play is not great, but he won the Conference League and he beat Brighton at their crib with a poor style of play. So the issue is not. And to be honest, the reality is that yes, I agree that Ten Hag's in-game management has not been great, but at the same time, when I look at the goals that we conceded, it's not because of our lack of a style of play. It's because of stupid mistakes, stupid errors. That's why. The 2 Spurs goals, both deflections. The Arsenal goal, deflection for thingy off Maguire, not concentrating. It's a lack of concentration. We're not losing these games because we're not having a style of it. We're losing these games because these players, for whatever reason, are not switched on and aren't doing the basics. That's what I think. Eric should focus on the team strength. I don't know why he tried the diamond field. He should build on the team strength because I guess because they wanted a different. Cotland says Ten Hag is a fraud. Can't think there's a lot of Ten Hag ants in this place. Robin from Sporting Lisbon, but how do you know that he's going to? See, this is what I'm saying. People suggest these guys. How do you know that he's going to? How do you know he looks good, great, but how do you know he's going to come into a Premier League, specifically into Manchester United, and cook? Given the culture, this is what people need to realize. It's not just a question of bringing this manager coming. It's this manager who's going to be working under Murta and the Glazers, and then having to deal with 3 or 4 successive players and having to manage personalities, because managing at a club, with all respect to Sporting, who are a small club who have players on far less wages, managing those personalities is going to be difficult. You know, so that's what I would say. I blame him for trying to see left Lavia for Mount. Well, Lavia's you say that, but Lavia, okay, but at the end of the day, Lavia now is injured and he needs surgery and probably is not going to play until early to mid 2024. So there you go. If anything, Manchester United need to look at need to do better medicals. But I'm glad we avoided Lavia, because what's the point in paying 60 million? Chelsea paid 80 million for Fofana, who's now been injured for almost 2 seasons. 60 million for Lavia, who's now injured for what? Bad Shield, etc. They spent 250 million on an ambulance. So talent is fine, but at the end of the day, don't smoke. Talent is fine, but at the end of the day, like, availability, as I've always said on this channel, is more important for me than ability. Availability over ability. Doesn't matter how good you are if you're going to be out for, just like Pogba, for a year not doing anything. I want to see good football to play no matter what. If we lose the game, I think it'll be yeah. But the problem is that with a club like Manchester United, when we play, it's difficult that's difficult to implement. I think it's very the problem with people is that what they'll see is a mid-table tier team playing good football and think that automatically translates into a top team. But the reality is that the manner in which teams play against a mid team and against a top team are different. They are. And of course, the personnel that you have as well. I'm not Ten Hag out. I'm Ten Hag out because I'm not seeing his Ajax philosophy in United. And to be fair, I said this at the end of last season when I was getting cooked by my community, when I said, you know what, I'm still not happy with the season. It's been an okay season, and I was getting cooked actually. And this was after the FA Cup final when I did the season preview. But I just think that the reason why I'm speaking out now is because it's like, back then I was like, I'm Ten Hag out, and everyone was like, no, he's great, he's done awesome, etc. I'm like, guys, just relax. You know, we still got issues. So now I'm seeing the issues that I saw last season, and now people are going the other extreme, which is get him out, etc., etc., etc. So it's more the fact that, like, I try to be nuanced. I try to be nuanced when it comes to these things, because I'm not seeing anything that particularly is surprising me, and it's multifactorial. Lose to the top 9 teams again in 2023. Heidi, sorry for the heavy loss. I mean, it was a 2-goal difference, not really heavy. The midfielders all need Amrabat and mainly in the midfield. Exactly. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, okay, if you're telling me next week Amrabat and Mainu are going to be available and they start against Burnley and we cook, then what are we saying? You know, the midfield is killing Cassie too. In preseason, tactical, very good, young player, better than senior mentality, entering his poor tactically. I mean, preseason doesn't really mean much, and I've said this several times. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Make sure you like the vid, guys, and subscribe. Right, I'm going to bring in Don Smoke. I have to bring in Eddie first, and then because you came out, I'll bring in Don Smoke and Bone Smoke afterwards. Because I know you want to cook. Burning food is part of cooking. I will bring you in, Don Smoke. I just need Eddie to speak first. So let me bring in Eddie. Eddie, man.
Yeah, can you hear me properly?
I can hear you, buddy. Man. What are your thoughts on this situation here, man?
This debacle. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Anyway.
No problem.
Yeah, man. It's. I mean, where I'm at with this team is, I'm not in a good place. I mean, obviously, Ten Hag was doing some good stuff last season, despite, you know, that it was a circus. It's more of a circus this season. I do feel sorry for the baggage he's had to deal with. Like, obviously it was Ronaldo first, and then it's you know, Greenwood. Now one of his own guys, Anthony. It's like, how much bad luck is this manager going to get? But at the same time, squad planning. You got to look at some of the mistakes that Ten Hag's doing, like getting in Mason Mount. Even if he was fit, I don't think we even win with him in the midfield. I don't think he's good enough. You know, we were trying this whole transitional stuff at the start. And then, you know, Ten Hag, he seemed to change the formation today, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it looked like a 4-3-3, but in the way that it was more like a 4-1-2-1-2.
Like a diamond, basically, yeah. I think,
the diamond. I don't think the fullbacks did as well as they could. Reguilon looked all right for me though. For a first game, he
I
had
agree.
some legs getting forward. Got a bit of dribbling / carrying the ball mentality to him. I kind of like him. Dallo got forward a bit, but I don't think he got forward enough. So we didn't really have
I don't see any difference.
enough width.
Wan-Bissaka comes back into right back when we go away to Bayern, to be honest. But you could
has been playing too well to not get back in.
Yeah. But you bring on a Reguilon. I have no problem with Reguilon starting a left back against Bayern based on that performance. You know, so it's good enough. But sorry, yeah, go on.
Yes, but just to carry on with that formation, we were playing good for the first 17 minutes. So I thought the tactics were right. We were pressing Brighton back, yeah. And like Rashford was looking creative, man. He was doing some runs. The thing is, you were mentioning it earlier. It's just like he's not getting up his head enough. He's not passing enough. Like if I'm sure Ten Hag's telling him, I think Rashford's just on a level where he's just got that kind of arrogance to him, where he thinks he should be the main guy getting all the goals. Like there was one transition in the second half where like I think Haaland got the ball. And then he passed the ball to Rashford. Rashford did some skills on the left, got forward, and then Haaland he pointed to where he wanted the ball. Do you remember this? He pointed to where he wanted the ball, and then Rashford went for a shot. And Rashford was doing that too much in this game. The front two there's potential for that front two to be cooking if they're linking up. Ten Hag's tried the 4-1-2-1-2 at Ajax as well, especially the last two games. Of their last season for Ajax that Ed Ten Hag was there, and they were cooking. Man. I think they had Robbie up front and another guy, and they were doing all right. And it's such a shame, yeah, that Man United actually were playing well and then they concede, because in previous games they played like bad and then maybe get the result, just like against the Wolves, playing bad, hold on, get the result. It's so ironic that they were playing good and then. For me, the mentality went out of the window, because if your formula is good enough, yeah, a goal should not affect how you're playing after. Because why is it Man United went a goal down and then they weren't playing good anymore? They weren't doing the formula that they were doing in the previous.
I think that's a mentality thing. I think that's the thing. But sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, you can't be really like criticizing Ten Hag too much, because the players' heads, they allowed their heads to go down, because it was just Brighton did not deserve that goal. It was such an easy goal.
But Eddie, that type of goal. So that's the only thing I would say is that on Ten Hag is that I'm tired of seeing that type of goal. It's the same type of goal that we conceded away to Arsenal. It's the same type of goal that was conceded against and almost knows to City in the final. Again. How is, who was it? Was it Welbeck? I think it was. Yeah, Welbeck scored the first goal. Yeah. How is Welbeck allowed to be by himself? Who's tracking the run from midfield, coming in? No, like, I don't know. Was it Casemiro? Was it McTominay? I'm not sure. But the same thing. Eriksen it was last week, I think. And Eriksen it was against City. We were like, why are I don't get it. Like, are the midfield players right now, are not sure what their role is? Like, am I supposed to defend them to come back? So I don't know. It just seems to be that all the midfielders right now, you look at before last season, if we're honest, you could say, right, okay, we had a solid back four, and then maybe you plowed Casemiro into that as a 5 plus or minus Eriksen, maybe, and see what happens. Last season, we got top 4 because of our strong defensive makeup. Now, our defense is all over the place and our midfield is worse and our attack still can't score. So the very thing that we actually had last season, we don't have. And now our attack still isn't achieving goals. Although, like I said, Rasmus looks okay. But sorry, go on.
Yeah, we've got to put that down to, Varane, got his injury. Martinez has been off form. I don't know what's happened to him this season. Something's happened to him, man. I don't know what it is, but there's some mistakes going on there. Thought he could have done better for was it Pascal Gross's goal, where he did like a little feint and then got the shot in. I was like, Martinez is better than that. He's better than getting kidded. He got kidded for that goal, man. He's better than that. Yeah. For me, Casemiro didn't have a good game today. He looked like he was off the pace as well. I don't know if he's
He's
burnt
been looking
out
like he's been
from
off the
last
pace
season.
for a while, though. He's been looking like he's been off the pace for a while.
Because on the first goal, I remember you were tweeting on Twitter, and I was you were saying like, yeah, what's going on with some people covering for the defenders? I think Casemiro should have been covering for the first goal. I don't think he was. Yeah, he wasn't alert enough. So it just seems like there's so many things that are just coming out of calibration, man. Just at the wrong time.
This is a good point, but never mind. Like, defense on the problem, attacks not the problem, the mentality. And the thing is, there is an element of that because it was like, you know, again, how many times we've said this season, you see United players walking around, not really pressing together in sync. Like just the sort of that sort of if you're, you know, it's how is it that Hannibal, when he came on, and shout out to Hannibal, man, that was a good G. That was a really good G. Big up Hannibal.
That was a nice
man.
goal.
You know?
Nice, yeah.
But he was like, okay, I'm gonna put some effort in. And it's like, this is what I don't understand. It's like you like it's and this is what I said at the start of this thing is that I don't care how good someone technically is, how good whether they sat down, etc. I don't care. What I care about is effort, availability, and effort as a minimum. So are you available for selection? Are you making available selection? Number one. And then two, put the effort, put your passion on the field. And with these players, it's just like, what's concerning, even since Ten Hag started and towards Ollie, was that was like, right, okay, where was that? Against Forest for the comeback, okay, you can see there was a little bit, but, you know, it took a red card to kind of really make it complete. Let's be real. But outside of that, you go a goal down. Where is that? Right, okay, come on. Like, going a goal down, this is why friends are like, going a goal down, even going 2-0 down, wasn't, back in the day, wasn't a big deal for United. It was like, okay, we're 2-0 down, but yeah, we can still come back in this game. And to be honest, at 3-1, with like, I think it was, let me look at the thing. It was 3-1. And yeah, 71 minutes, and we scored 3. So we still had 17 minutes of normal time and 6 minutes of injury time. So we still had 23 minutes to score 2 goals. And you're telling me old school Manchester United, 3-1, 26 minutes to score 2 goals, challenge accepted.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the fact that we didn't even have many players to be putting on that could change the game. I mean, when we heard the booing when Haaland had to come off, I
didn't understand that.
Yeah, it's got to be an issue with his fitness or something, because you wouldn't take him off. He was making good runs. Yeah, he was looking like he could do something. When he scored the goal that was disallowed, I thought, okay, this is going to be it now. Haaland time, but obviously he's a little bit unlucky with that. But it's like, yeah, Martial came on. It was like, I was thinking, yeah, we're not going to do much now then, really, especially putting him up front in a 2. I don't know. I don't really see him being dynamic enough to do that. Like, he's good as a false 9, but as a guy that runs in behind, making all these dynamic runs, he's not the guy, is he? Haaland was that guy in the first half. Maybe if Rashford got his head up a bit more, you know, he could have got a legitimate goal. But yeah, I mean, look who we put on. Mejbri not ready. By the way, we've got to ask why. I'm sure you've discussed it. Like, Pelestri not starting, it's a wonder what his future is at the team now. If he can't get in when Sancho's out, when Diallo is out, all these guys are out, and then at the start of the season, Garnacho's starting ahead of him. It's like, what's the point then? What's the point of having this winger? You know. So overall, it's like, I hear what you're saying. Back in the day, we'll go a few goals down. Old Man United would be like, okay, no, we got enough of a squad to come back, but we don't have it. So many injuries. The current guys, they're not really that good. You know, we got in Amrabat too late. It's like all the problems are culminating where it's bad squad planning, bad people already there. Some players are not wanting to run. Coming back to your point about the pressing, what's happened to the counter press? I thought that was a Ten Hag staple. You know, his philosophy. Where was it? We didn't counter press. I saw Bruno doing his little single man press, but then That was
That
it.
was it. Let me bring, because Don Smoke's been smoking, so I know he's gonna cook, and it's fair enough. It's
Why
fair
is
enough.
Don
So
Smoke here, man? It's a
let
Man
me
United
bring you in.
Why is a City
Don
fan
Smoke,
here?
brother, man. How you doing? How you doing, Don Smoke, brother? How you doing?
Never felt more like singing the blues. City win, United lose. Come on, City. You got me singing the blues. How
Nah,
you are
that's
here?
worth a sin bin right there. Sin bin.
That almost.
He's singing. You can't even sing.
It's been a long time. So it's been a long time, Don Smoke's Front Channel. So yeah, where you know what we're doing. You know what we're doing, man. You know the score, man. Don Smoke.
No, I don't, man. No, man. Like you never know, man. I'm worried about you guys' mental health with 7 HAG at the helm, man. Like it doesn't get any more easier, right?
You say 7 HAG.
See, the concerning thing is this: do you know that De Zerbi has been at Brighton less than a year now, right? And he's imprinted his style, his blueprints. And today they actually had 6 subs from the previous game.
Oh
right?
yeah, no.
The honest question, Eddie, I got for you is: looking at that Brighton team, maybe besides Mitoma, none of those players make it into your team. As bad as you guys may think your team is, right? How many players can you outright say that no?
I mean, Don Smoke, I'm gonna say a controversial statement right now. I actually think that Welbeck is a more intelligent footballer right now than Marcus Rashford is. Is that controversial?
The great Welbeck that you guys
intelligent. I said intelligent.
Intelligent. Yeah. Is this the great Welbeck who couldn't cut it at United? You're telling me?
I know. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly.
No, because the thing is this, right? At the end of the day, right? I feel as if he got out coached. The first 20 minutes, right? You caught De Zerbi by surprise. He wasn't expecting you to play a diamond. That's all it is. It's not a mentality thing. You just caught him by surprise and he adjusted. He dropped Welbeck into the midfield, right? As a false 9. And the thing is, Ten Hag is kind of like Arteta, whereby his in-game management sucks.
Yeah.
Plan A, it's either it goes well or you fail. Whereby there is no adjustments that happens at halftime. Like, no, okay, this is how they've adjusted. This is how we're gonna counter that. None of that. It's more like, okay, let's keep trying this stupid plan A that I gave you guys, which I'm sure you guys don't understand. And somehow, hopefully, because we are Man United, the great Man United, it might work, right? And the refs might give
real quickly, yeah. Don't you think it's strange that when the goal went in, that's when Brighton started playing well? Yeah, this is why I thought it was a mentality thing, because Man United were doing well up until that point. Yeah,
but when did Welbeck drop into midfield? Eddie, when did Welbeck drop into midfield?
When? I'm not sure, but I'm just saying though, like the players' heads at Man United went down after the goal.
Yes, I understand the goal was against the run of play, but the fixes and adjustments were being made incrementally by De Zerbi.
Don Smoke's point is that yes, we caught De Zerbi unawares by playing the diamond because he didn't anticipate that. But when Welbeck actually started to drop into the midfield, it essentially nullified what we were playing, which obviously started to cause which ended up causing, because at the start, for the 20 minutes, Brighton I don't think really could get that much of the ball off the ball from us. We actually had far more. That's why I posted a tweet. I said, "Oh, United actually have more of the ball than I expected they were going to have against Brighton compared to when we played against them previously." But then after the goal, and maybe slightly before the goal, but certainly after the goal, that completely changed.
Yeah, I didn't see it before the goal.
Just before.
There was no build up towards what Welbeck did, Don Smoke. There was no build for me. There was not enough of a build up to warrant it just being tactics. I think it was just a bonus run of play, and then Brighton got confidence from that, and then Man United didn't keep doing what they were doing in the first 20 minutes.
At the end of the day, right? Ten Hag had the reputation of being a great coach. Let's all be honest, right? Oh, he's got these intricate, whereby when I dig it back, he just had a great Ajax team. Because if you see, most of those players were generational players. You had De Jong, you had De Ligt, you had Ziyech, you had very... So is that one of the things whereby every now and again, right?
Yeah, no. But to be fair, those players, if there were, then they should have kicked off with players away from them. Most of those players left. And
No. The thing is, there were good players in a great system. You must understand that the Ajax philosophy precedes Ten Hag.
The system is implemented by the manager, though.
No. What I'm trying to say is this: there are certain teams whereby their footballing philosophy, it transcends even the manager. Whereby when you join the team, listen to what I'm trying to say.
No, I see what you're saying, but then since Ten Hag has left Ajax football have been awful.
Yes, but I've lost a whole lot of players, right? And I'm saying they've sold most of the crop of a bunch of players. What I'm trying to say is this, right? It's like there are certain teams whereby if you go there and you do so well, it's like winning with the Bundesliga at Bayern Munich, right? I don't know what I'm trying to say is this: as a good coach, I expect you to adapt to what the other coach is trying to do and find a way to nullify or counter that. That's what the good coaches do, right? And then you have certain coaches whereby they're just philosophy merchants, right? So look at De Zerbi, man. For you to adjust to what your opponents are doing away from home. Remember, at the end of the day, you're playing at Old Trafford, and you guys didn't lose the whole of last season.
Okay,
right?
so is David Moyes better than De Zerbi then?
No, I wouldn't say he's better than De Zerbi.
But he had a tactical plan. Even though his football was awful, he had a plan. He went to Brighton. His plan executed, and he won. So David Moyes out tactic De Zerbi then, didn't he?
Listen, right? At the end of the day, you are tested as a manager when the onus is on you to win the game, right? It's easy to it's easier to counter attack. Then that is why certain managers or coaches don't do well at big clubs, because then you can't play that I'm going to have 20% possession or 30% and counter, right? Because counter means that you are reacting to whatever the opponents are doing, right? And that's why Moyes, he's much more suited at a smaller team where he's not expected to have the ball. Whereas if you go to a bigger club like a United, you are expected to dominate, especially at home.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that, but I'm just saying that, like, I'm just saying that, like, it's the same thing what I'm seeing with De Zerbi and with even Beganja, etc. I get that, but I've heard this from so many times with so many Brighton Spurs managers where people say this, and then they get their move to a bigger club, and then they end up failing. Why? Because there's more to. I don't disagree with your point on Smoke. I don't. Yes. What I'm trying to say is that there is more to being successful at a big club than necessarily just how your tactics are going to be on the field. Because
I agree with you. No.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Follow what I'm saying, right? There's the coaching and the managing parts, right? What I'm trying to say is this: De Zerbi is a better manager because even against the big teams, De Zerbi goes on the front foot, right? It's not. And I'm saying it's not the same as beating, for example. I have 30. It's not a sucker punch. Even against us, you see how good whereby these guys go 50-50 with us in possession, right? And so I'm saying it's not a matter. Does that mean he'll be a success at a bigger team? No, because then there's now the mentality part whereby you have to win trophies, right? You need to win week in, week out. That's not the managing part. It's not the coaching. The coaching I'm talking about on field. On the field, from what I've seen, Ten Hag is not that good of a coach. From what I've seen from Ten Hag, he is not, because he can't adapt.
No, I have to disagree with the adapting thing, because I think you're ignoring last season, right?
We lost 7.
We finished 3rd place when people were thinking we're going to finish 6th. We won a cup when no one was thinking we were going to win a cup, yeah? And Ten Hag was actually getting the team to do like the high press at home, dominate the ball at home, and then away from home, okay, it went bad, but we were doing like counter-attack, that kind of thing. It did adapt somewhat to the way that Man United would counter-attack, right?
Eddie,
so you can't
wait. Are you trying to pretend here on the Red Devil studio that you guys were playing beautiful football last season?
No, I didn't say I didn't say that. I was saying tactically.
You said you would.
Yeah. No. Wait, let me finish now. I was saying tactically, Ten Hag was getting some of his philosophy across. It was just like it was more.
Which philosophy?
That home, like I said, the pressing.
No,
there was
no. Ten Hag is a possession-based manager.
Yeah. But it was.
Let Eddie speak.
It wasn't all the time. yeah, it wasn't all the time he was doing that with Ajax, by the way. There was times in the Champions League where it would be transitional. I've heard people talk about this as well. It's not always possession with him, not all the time. Yeah. But the thing is, he was implementing the high press and some counter press as well. I don't know where the counter press has gone now, by the way. This is why I think it is some of the players are not doing the work. RDS was saying some people were jogging today. You think Ten Hag is saying, okay, you can be jogging? Stuff like that, it's going to be okay. Some of the manager is at fault. Some of the players are at fault right now, and there's all of this circus going on. Yeah, players missing. You see how many injuries we got.
And to Eddie's point, even though, like I said, I agree with the type of like when I look at the manner of which the goals were conceded, it's for most of the goals you can see this season, it's been due to our own individual mistakes. It's not necessarily because, like, you look at the you look at both the like certain. Forget about the third goal because that's the thing, but certainly the first two goals against Arsenal, our own mistakes. 2 goals against Spurs, both deflections. Goals against Forest. Like, these are individual, but also collective errors. It's not because, like, oh, our style of play is so bad that we can't play football.
Wait, what style of play?
I'm saying put the style of play argument to a side. I get them.
There is no style of play, so you can't put it to the side. Like, it's not there.
You can put it to a side because at the
end
of the day,
it's not there. It's not there. You need style of play to put it to the side.
No, but at the end of the day, like I don't care. Yes, people say style play, style play. At the end of the day, it's about football's about results. Like I said, you can have crap style of play. As I give you the Moyes example, style of play doesn't look good. You get results still. So at the end of the day, I expect at least. Okay, I'm talking professional footballers here. So I expect at least I'm like, right, when someone's on the corner, I expect you, for example, to be able to mark your mark the player assigned to you. That has nothing to do with style of play. So if you're free and you score, it's like that has nothing to do with style of play. It's like, why aren't you doing your job?
But RDS, that's coaching, right? It's up to the coach whether you zonal mark or you mark men to men. That comes from the coaching stuff, right?
No. Yeah. You can have a style of zone marking, that's fine. But if I'm seeing 5 or 6 players do that and one player isn't doing it,
he probably doesn't agree with the coach. The manager. No. RDS, every now and again you get players who don't agree with the coach, right? So my issue with Ten Hag is this, right? If you didn't tell me Ten Hag is your coach, I would think this is Oli ball.
Well, would you say that last season as well, though? Like from what we're doing,
especially last season.
Well, at home though. Did you see this at home? What we're doing,
bro?
What we were playing,
bro. I couldn't watch 70 minutes of United, bro.
Okay, like, let me just ask you then. Have you seen?
It's still been individual brilliance.
Let me ask you then, Don Smoke. Yeah, have you seen some things change there with the team over from last season? Yeah, and a bit of this season.
I've seen some improvements in players, right? Like, let's say Wan-Bissaka, right? I'm saying I've seen some,
and the system as well. And the system.
What system, bro? Like, you guys are playing low blocks, bro.
My issue we weren't doing low blocks, though.
I'm saying most games
we were pressing,
bro.
At home.
Most games that you won is from individual brilliance, right? I haven't seen enough patterns of play.
No. Don't say individual brilliance. The reason why we were successful last season is if individual you mean the defense, then yes. It's not because we had forward players, attacking players, scoring some scores and cutting teams. We definitely didn't do that. We had an organized defense, which is one of the reasons why we conceded the same amount of goals as Arsenal did last season.
Yeah, but when you defend, when half of your players are in the box, bro, like, I expect you not to concede. That's why you get a lot of deflections, because most of your players are actually next to each other, right? You are gonna get deflections, bro. Like, hence I'm saying, like, to be honest, right? Before Ten Hag went to United, right, there was a point in time whereby a collection of the City fan base actually wanted him to replace Pep, because we thought he's gonna be he's Pep's disciple. And to be honest with you, I've been disappointed, right? The thing is, it's pragmatic. I didn't think he's gonna be this pragmatic, right? Pragmatic to the sense that at the end of the day, there were a lot of edgy games. that you guys won, right? And it's a coin toss. Now the thing is, you can't sustain that for very long. That's the issue. The brand of football he was playing, and those close results, you can't sustain them for a long time, because there'll be many times whereby those close wins will become draws, and sometimes
of course. But then on the other hand, you can make an argument that there were many times in those games where if our attack, and this is what I'm saying, is like the biggest issue of United last season was that we had attackers. We actually created a lot of chances last season, but our attackers couldn't finish. That was the biggest issue Manchester United last season. This season, what's happened this season is now our midfield is becoming in balance, which it was kind of slightly towards this season. Our defense has gotten worse, and our attackers still can't finish. So if last season, ironic enough, if we actually signed someone like Haaland last season, instead of relying on Martial,
bro, you know he hasn't scored more than 7 goals in a season. So I don't know.
No, but you can of course, but you can try and be objective. You can at least see.
I am being objective.
At least be objective and say that you could see the difference between Haaland and Martial today. Come on, please don't tell me that.
No. Let me give you an example, right? Haaland, right, is not the best on the ball, but he scores, right? And that's what gives him a pass. So, as a striker, right, it's end product.
Of course, it's end product, but at the end of the day,
I'm saying there's nothing to go based on that Haaland.
But at the end of the day, we know Haaland was never meant to be Manchester United's first striker. That was never meant to be the case. We know, everyone in the United knows that Ten Hag wanted Harry Kane. He couldn't get him. He wanted 2 strikers to replace Martial and Ronaldo. He couldn't get Osimhen. Haaland was there, and he actually wanted another striker, a senior striker, to support him because he saw the potential. So Haaland was never meant to be the new Manchester United's main man. He's only 20 years old, for goodness sake.
How many goals did the Verg score last season?
What, Haaland?
The Vergost, the Verg.
Well, 0.
Yeah, he was bad.
0 Premier League games.
He got one Premier League game, one Premier League goal, I think.
I know. I don't think he got. No, he didn't. He got an FA Cup. He got a cup goal. Yeah. He didn't get a Premier League goal.
Okay, so then he has a very good chance of beating his goal tally.
All right, let me say this. Let me say this, guys, because you said quite a bit. Yeah, it's going to be a combination of loads of things that we're discussing now that's contributed to what's going on at the moment. Yeah.
We're going Eddie. So let me just ask this because Chainsaw's here. Shout out to Chainsaw, man, big up, man. Shout out to my Liverpool brother, because obviously you guys are cooking as well, somewhat. So Chainsaw, Don Smoke, who's City's biggest challenger this season? Liverpool or Arsenal or Spurs?
Always Liverpool, man. It's the only team I take serious.
There you go. That's your answer. And to be honest, I wouldn't disagree with him so far, but we'll see, because I think Europa League football might hurt Liverpool, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was just going to say a point, man. You kind of threw me off a little bit.
Sorry.
The squad planning, right, has not been too good. Yeah, this is crippled Ten Hag, because Don Smoke brought up Weghorst, yeah? Weghorst. You think Ten Hag really wanted that kind of striker to be doing his philosophy? This guy that was at Burnley, not even a...
But what philosophy, team, though?
Yeah? No, come on, man. We know what fundamentals he has, okay?
We thought we knew.
Hold on there. We've said possession. Okay, he's not implemented that as much, because you've got to look at the squad. The midfield is kind of weak in regards to being technically sound in possession, right? We look at the players that should have been brought in. Ten Hag, okay, he can't be immune from blame, because bringing in Mount, that was strange. That was really strange. It kind of implied that, yeah, Ten Hag was changing his style. So as well as that happening, yeah, Ten Hag was probably thinking, okay, this team is predominantly counter-attack. Let me try and get in some more transitional players, right? Yeah, but he's gotten players like Mount, got injured. Amrabat got him and he's injured. You know, there's all these things going on that is, you can see it must be distracting Ten Hag.
No,
and we look at players. Okay, I'm going to finish. Hold on. We look at players like Rashford. Do you think Ten Hag saying just cut in and shoot, just cut in and shoot? There's certain players that's not even listening. Yeah. So we've got to deal with that. I'm sure Ten Hag trying to implement as much as he can of his philosophy, but you have to adapt to what some of these prima donnas want to do, and that is freestyle. Yeah. Ten Hag, okay, we're going to see if he is a good manager. Because come on, Don Smoke, he's on one season. Okay. Even for Pep, it took him, what is it, to the second season to keep going. Pep's better than Ten Hag. So maybe Ten Hag needs a bit of this season and then the next season, yeah, to really see if he's going to be the guy. Come on, man.
Not the. No, you see. Okay.
I mean, look how long it took Klopp, though. We're talking about
back on what you said
to actually win something, bro.
Back on what you said. Now the thing is, I blame Ten Hag. Why? Because at the end of the day, you have to buy the players to incorporate whatever you're trying to implement, right? You go and you buy Casemiro. Casemiro is not a possession-based DM. He's never been. Hence, he's had Modric and Kroos next to him. Because if you see, Kroos actually played as the other pivot most of the times to help in the build-up. So now you go, you buy Cas.
So we know that Ten Hag wanted De Jong, right? Couldn't get
De Jong
because of
no. But now the thing is, you can't tell me.
To get the player.
Let me give an example. Look at us this season, right? We wanted Paqueta. You have to adjust. It's normal, right? You want Paqueta.
You can't compare City. You can't compare City.
No. What I'm trying to say is the level of scouting. You must have plan 1, 2, and 3, right?
Wait. Don't smoke. Did you wait? Are you talking about United scouting and planning? I'm talking about
Ten Hag. I'm talking about Ten Hag and his coaching team, right? At the end of the day, as a manager,
it's a scouting team, though. Come on, it's
yes. As a manager, you have to have an idea of which players do you think, because at the end of the day, you don't know because you haven't bought them, can carry out your ideas, right?
Yeah, but but to be fair, most I agree and disagree at the same time because a lot of like for example, like you look at Chelsea, I highly doubt Pochettino was like, I want these 22 players signed by these different things. I don't think he was consulted with all those guys. You don't, and even with Eddie Howe, I don't think you necessarily need to have. There's an argument to be had about, and personally for me, I'm still questioning Erik ten Hag's talent ID. I agree, but as you referenced in Ajax, the whole system and something like that, when you actually have a director of football that actually works with the coach, that goes to scout, that's usually the best way. The reality of Manchester United, unfortunately, this is why we're seeing the similar successive thing with different managers, is that if you're in a situation where you're just letting the manager just decide and do his own thing and not create any cultural philosophy to go by, then you end up getting more duds, more not, because they're just relying on their own team, their own coaching staff. And most big clubs don't do that. For example, when you guys got what's his name thingy from Barca, it massively changed the way that you recruited players. So I don't disagree with you.
That's even my point. Listen, what I'm trying to say is this, right? At the end of the day, he has blame, right?
I don't disagree with that.
I'm saying when I look at today's starting lineup, right, 6 of those 11 were actually his signings, right? So you can't go back. You can't go back and then be like, no, I don't have the players to. No, look at Brighton. How many players did Zerbi buy when he came? He just. As I'm saying, like
but the thing is, but this is what I'm saying. But Brighton, I'm not disagreeing with you, but the point still stands that Brighton are. When was the last time United went and signed a player from Brazil? The point is that like when you your director of football, you're scouting, that's the person. It's not your coaches or that.
Okay, next point. That's not the point I want to die on, right? What I'm trying to say is this, right? Even in Pep's first season, as much as we weren't getting the results, we saw on the field what Pep was trying to do, right?
But do you think you'd have been as successful with Pep if you didn't have what's his name, Taiki from Barcelona? Cheeky, sorry.
Chicken. We wouldn't be as successful, but we would see. No. Wait. We wouldn't be. No. I didn't say we wouldn't be successful. I said we wouldn't be.
No, a better question is: Do you think Pep Guardiola would be successful at the culture and management of Manchester United? That's the question.
Yes, not as successful as at United, but he's an elite manager. He will find a way. elite managers
Nah,
find
you
a
gotta
way.
say, Don.
No,
You gotta
I
say, you're being careful.
I
Could
don't know,
you
Don.
imagine Pep,
I
trying to
don't know,
coach
man. I don't know.
Weghorst? Yeah,
I
can you
don't know,
imagine
man.
that? What would he do with
Nah,
Weghorst
come
up
on.
front, Don Snow? Nothing, yeah,
No,
nothing,
he
bro.
would. He would do. What I'm trying to say
Nah.
is, bro, you're missing my point. I'm saying at the end of the day, when I look at Ten Hag, I don't even see what the dude is trying to do. Right? That Ollie didn't do. Right?
That
That Wreck-It
Mourinho,
Ralph.
Matt
They didn't have
Jose.
people press at all. Okay, those
No,
things
like
are different.
no,
You're trying to give him zero props at the moment. Like you don't give him
no.
props for anything.
No,
Like you
no.
gotta
I
give him
give him props
something.
for winning the cup. Listen, I give him props
Yeah,
for winning
but
the
in
cup.
terms of his system, you give him no props for anything.
There's no
Like you
system,
say
bro.
that
Like
Ole. No, but when you say Ole could have been there like last season, there was. I've got to say it again. We used to press at home. We did that. There were certain things changing, yeah, and the formation as well. People trying to do the fluidity in positions. You have people interchanging positions. That's what Ten Hag likes to do. Those players were trying to do it, but a lot of them they're not good. And you said there was 6 players that Ten Hag has in the team. I think it's about 4 that
no, it's
he's got in the
6. It's
team.
6. I can name them for you. I can name them for you. Right? Yeah, 6.
Yeah. Oh, Nana.
It's
Yeah.
Onana, Martinez,
Martinez.
Reguilon, Casemiro.
Reguilon is not. That doesn't count, man.
I'm not
That's an
counting
emergency loan. Come on.
No,
Man.
but no. Whether you bring in a
Come on.
player or not, who's the manager when he came into the club?
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
okay.
still won't give you that one, but okay. Ericsson. Yeah.
Eriksen and Holland. That's
Yeah.
6.
No,
That is
it's still not
That's
enough.
5, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's no,
Yeah.
it's
That's
6.
5.
Onana. Okay, I'll count. Onana 1, Martinez 2,
Mhm.
Reguilon 3,
3,
Casemiro 4,
4.
Eriksen 5, Holland 6. That is 6 players.
Okay.
That's more than half the team.
We said Ericsson twice just now.
No, I said him once. In the back line, you have the keeper and 2, right? And your Martinez and the
Why
left
am I
back.
even doing that? I've got the lineup here. Okay,
There's the
1,
lineup.
2, 3, 4,
Casemiro.
5, and then 6.
6.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah. 1, 2,
I
3.
would
thing is,
still
that's what I'm
say,
saying.
Don, though, that we're missing. We're still missing players, bro. You know,
Bro, every team is missing players, bro.
Although that said, can you really okay? I don't disagree, but again, from those players that we mentioned, arguably weren't those players, if you're going to give an argument, the better players? Like Reguilon, if we're talking about today, Reguilon arguably better than Pablo. Onana, said Martinez, okay. Ericsson,
Casemiro. No, don't skip Casemiro. That's the thing, bro.
Casemiro, okay, fine, but this guy, arguably a fault for 2 of the goals. He wasn't there.
McTominay, we know, bro. Like McTominay, we know, bro.
We know about McTominay. Bruno Fernandes, ghosts, and Marcus Rashford. Quite frankly, if the guy could actually pass and look up,
no, but
potentially get 2 goals. You know?
Rashford has always been a purple patch player. Is that a son? We know that. Like
I know that.
It's like I'm just shocked that you're shocked. Like it's
Rashford. I'm not shocked. I know that with Marcus Rashford. I know that. By the way, guys, sorry since Don Smokes. We are almost at 4K. One reason I'm for live. We're almost at 4K. 5 subs to 4K. So please, if you are watching, smash a like and subscribe. And go on. So let's just begin to round this up. So I'm going to read some comments, and then I'll just ask the final question is to both to Eddie and then Don Smoke, how United should basically set up against Bayern Munich, because there's no point in talking about Ten Hag out or whatever, because he's not going to be sacked between now to Bayern. That's not going to happen. So rather than talk about that, once I've just been reading the comments, we'll talk about how you feel that United should set up against Bayern Munich away from home. So first question. So Rodney says, Ten Hag, we deserve something from the game. Did this goal was checked incorrectly? Did he generally say that?
No, there's no way he said that.
Dude never takes responsibility at all. We know 7.
Jason, the cool kid, says we started well, but we were not creating much for one another. Just a bunch of individual stuff, but looking to get the names on the score sheet. Well, that again, it's a problem. Big T, we're playing a diamond at home. We're overcommitting players who are then walking back. We're making the wrong substitutions at the wrong times. That's all on the manager. Fair enough, Big T, and I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
No, players walking back. That's not on the manager. That's players. He's not going to be saying, "Oh, don't
Right.
fucking run
Yeah.
back."
Yeah, no, I agree. The overcommitting thing, but yeah, the wrong substitution of committing, but yeah, the walking back, it shouldn't happen. I agree. James is using Pep as a poor example. Big T, everything Ten Hag knows is Dutch, and a Dutch team would not finish top 4 in the Premier League. That is the issue. It depends on what Premier League season. Ollie battered Brighton, by the way. I mean, yeah, but I mean,
That is when.
But then we wasn't he in charge? No, it was Ragnick, I think, was in charge when we lost 4-0, but it was still his team. And then he also lost to like Watford. We got battered. Like, this is why I don't like this revisionist. It's like I've seen a lot of revisionism. Like, I get it, you can blame something, I can blame something, but let's not be revisionist and start saying, but Ollie did this. Ollie got spanked by Watford, which is what got him sacked after he got spanked by Liverpool and City back to back and Leicester.
And the games that he did win, we were snatching a lot of results where we didn't even deserve it. So,
exactly. And for people slating Onana and saying we should get De Gea, the reality is, again, who was in goal last season when we conceded 7 to Liverpool and 6 to City and 4 to Brentford when it was at Smake for 2 goals?
Shit. We actually beat you 6. Like I forgot. Thanks for reminding.
Well, 6-3, I think. So, but
no, at 6. Like we put 1, 2, 3.
You did. We beat you at Old Trafford. We did beat you at Old Trafford.
That offside goal.
Shout out to offside, man. So, Brighton spent 90 million this season. I mean, they probably spent less.
That's Anthony. That's just Anthony, bro. That's Anthony. They spent. You might as well put it. They spent Anthony.
Because they got how much for, was it Caicedo? So wouldn't they be in a positive, I think?
Yeah.
Because they sold Caicedo for 115 and then McAllister for, was it 60? I think 50 or 60 million. And I don't know who else they sold. So, they're ready in the positive. Michael, big up Michael, man. ORDS. I know see, Liverpool fans coming to cook. I get it. No manager has been given the facility or power to win. The only way you can win again is by having new owners. Well,
it's always the owners. It's always the owners. Always the Glazers.
It is always.
I'm sure the Glazers drew a picture of it. No, I'm sure before the game, the Glazers drew a picture of a diamond and sent it to 7 Hag. Be like, do whatever you want to do with that.
They probably said what they probably said. Why haven't you sorted out the Greenwood situation? That's probably what they were saying. Our recruitment team is awful, and Eric Ten Hag has to get players and much for. We never signed cheap, but but in fairness to Don Smoke, like it can't always be on the Glazer situation. I agree with that, but at the same time, it's like 50-50. When you're a well-run club and the culture and things work, it does translate onto the pitch. When you're completely chaotic, it translates onto the pitch. That's why you can say successive managers since Fergie and Manchester United have failed. So clearly it's both, because if it was just one manager, then why didn't Moyes, why didn't Van Gaal, why didn't Jose, why didn't all these managers that Manchester had at least succeed? They haven't.
Didn't Jose win Europa? Didn't Jose win Europa?
Yeah, but then after that, the bigger picture is he didn't get backed the season after, did he? Yeah,
yes.
He wanted to get like some big defenders in.
No, you see, in Jose's case, I'm saying in Jose's case.
Let me tell you this. There was a press conference, where Jose threw Lindelof and Bailly under the bus. He said he didn't get his defenders that he wanted to get in. And who do you attribute that to? It's the board.
I'm saying, Eddie,
they've done that
in
with
Jose's
multiple
case.
managers.
I'm saying in Jose's case, I blame the Glazers because he put the proof on.
Whoa! You could even talk about Van Gaal. In his final season, he won the FA Cup. I'll bet, and he missed it. And he was on the same points as fifth, and he also didn't get backed. So you wonder if he'd gotten back proper. So, but anyway, I don't want to
talk with like youth players, man.
Yeah, I don't want to go into a backing situation because that's on the point of this. Because I want to quickly go to talk about the Bayern game quickly. I just want to quickly finish these comments. How many players are there still who have 3 to 4 managers sacked? Why are these players still at the club? So I'm just going to just read the comments. Any 11 of us from this chat would beat United side playing like that. Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe that's the only way. Get me, Don Smoke, and Eddie to go onto the football field and spank these guys. Do you guys think United will win any trophies this season?
I don't know.
It
Man
dep-
United need to get their system right. That's
the
what
only
it
way
man.
is if they have a lucky.
Wait, what about
bye.
the Manchester Cup? You guys could win the Manchester Cup.
If we
What's
have a
that?
lucky bye, if we have a lucky bye to a Carabao Cup final, then maybe, yeah. Just essentially, if we avoid City, because I think if I'm correct, I think all the teams in the Carabao, a lot of the big teams are playing each other. Because City, you're playing Newcastle. I think
Yes.
Liverpool are playing. I think Liverpool are playing Brighton, aren't they? And I think Arsenal. No, Chelsea playing Brighton, and I think Arsenal playing Liverpool. I think that's it. Yeah. So, essentially, to answer your question, they might, if somehow they get a lucky bye to final without playing at least two big teams, then maybe.
I won't be. I just say this real quickly. I won't be up with like no Carabao Cup again or anything like that. Yeah, I want the football to be. I'm sure everyone wants the football to be at a certain level where you can see that formula working to challenge for major trophies. Not just got to be patchworking results. It's shit. It doesn't. Just like with Ole, there's no longevity to it because you can't repeat a formula that's not working when you're snatching results. Yeah, it's like we've got to get the football calibrated, man. Like I wouldn't care about a cup this season. Just get the football fucking cooking.
Casemiro has aged a decade during the off-season, so I just quickly want to read the comments so we can get to the final part of the section. Mayor, do you guys think Ten Hag will turn things around with the new system and new signings? We'll maybe address that just in the last segment. United need to improve on turnovers, balance of defense, practice offensive routines. That early season aim of making the playoffs looks like a long shot now. I think fifth is still a reasonable target. Not challenging for anything, but fifth is a reasonable target. Ollie has had a worse team thinking, but Tenga's playing the same way, pushing around, going for the occasional counter, and then forces. But why he's got players he managed? It's because the dressing room players. Well, we don't know what's going on inside the club. Mac, he was 35 million. Okay, fair enough. Big up Mac. Tenga may look to do an Arteta by winning a cup in the first season and finishing 8th in the next. I mean, to be fair to Ten Hag, he got Champions League football and the trophy. Arteta finished. What did Arteta do? Arteta finished 8th and won the FA Cup. Yeah, he finished 8th, won the FA Cup. So I still think Ten Hag's achievement is better than that. But yeah, I see your point. Ten Hag was better than Pep's first season. Yet the press are looking for his. You can't compare the two. Yeah, even as a United fan, it's like. But Pep was coming to Premier League. This is like it's different. And I was going to transform the way we played. Where is that? The problem with playing a ball-playing goalkeeper that sets off an attack is that you need players that are also good on the ball. That's the big problem, and we don't have a lot of players that are like that currently. Let's just quickly and shout out to SMB. I mean, I think I've got a lot of Liverpool fans in this chat, but big up to you guys. Let's quickly move on to the final point because I've got a bounce. But so I'll quickly go to Eddie first, and actually I'll go to Don Smoke first, and then Eddie. So United versus Bayern. If I'm honest, I'm not expecting much. But how do you think, Ten Hag should set up? Just to give us an outside perspective. So I know bounce it's fine. Give us an outside perspective. How would you think that Ten Hag should set up, and what players do you think you should play away to Bayern Munich, Don?
Right. So it's simple, right? Put something in the player's food, they get a stomach bug, you forfeit the game, you lose by 3. Right. But then now the reality is it's against the two. Right. It's a fight of who can be the worst manager of the two.
That
right?
is
so
true.
these guys actually battling it out, right? So it's a case of individual brilliance. Who's gonna win the game? Because man, the Took is clueless. Is a bit clueless as well, especially when the onus is on him to attack.
That is true.
Right.
That's true.
So the thing is, I think it being at the Allianz is what will get Bayern over the line. And
So with that in mind, how do you think United should set up with that in mind?
Just absorb, like do what he does, like park the bus, right? Try to absorb as much as he can without conceding a deflection, right? Because that's what happens when you park the bus when you have so many people. your box, right? And then
who should play? Who would you play? So one
I'd-
part was who would you play? So go on. Who would you play?
right, I'll have Rashford out wide because
Mhm.
Bayern do play a high line, right?
Mhm.
And Rashford is very effective when he can run behind the defense, right?
Mhm.
You have now with Sancho not being there, then now you need to find a right winger, and I don't know how Garnacho is on the right. It's pointless playing Bruno Ericsson there because they're gonna drift in the
Yeah, of
midfield
course.
anyway,
Yeah.
right? So you're gonna have a vacant hole there. I think that hole at the right is your only concern because I think if you pack the middle right and then have them play, but now the issue is Bayern have good 1v1 wingers in Coleman and Sane.
Yeah.
So they will fancy their chances against Wan-Bissaka and Regulon, or if you're going to play Dalo there, right? So I think you're going to have to play a double pivot. That's not even an option. You can't attack Bayern. You can't have a lone CDM. They're going to tear you into pieces because if they can go through your middle, the scoreline will be embarrassing.
Fine.
So try limit them by having them play wide, right? So I think the only issue is who do you play on the right wing? I haven't seen outside of Sancho, right?
Well, obviously, Palestri was always the one. It's the opportunity, as you said. I mean, it's possible that he could play Rashford on the right. Rashford has played on the right before. He's not
That's
great.
a waste, though.
It's a waste. You're right. I agree. You know, does he bring in? You know, do you sacrifice that and then play Martial on the left?
No.
You don't play.
The thing is, you'd want Bruno to play as the 10 behind the striker because as much as Bruno's a bum, right? He's very good on the counter, right? I think I would say behind KDB, right? When it comes to to passing, right, and creating chances, you can't really as much as a bum, and he can't he's not really, he can't dictate the midfield. But one thing he can do is create chances, and with Bayern, you're gonna get chances, right? And when you get those chances, 1v1, nowhere is not around, right? So you want Rashford to get those one-on-one as much. As I said, with Haaland, his best goal tally is 7, and that's a whole season. So I don't want to put so much pressure on him this early. And as you saw with Martial at the Camp Nou against Barca, he can rise to the occasion if you put him in. The only issue with Rashford is when he has to play a low block because he's not really good at that, right? But when he has space, I think you just have to protect the middle and find the right winger.
Yeah, Bayern aren't going to play a low block, so obviously
yes. So as long as you can because I see him trying to play Eriksen, and I think this is a game whereby you would have loved Fred.
Yes,
right.
I've been saying this about. Because anyway,
if you had Casemiro and Fred, and then Bruno, that's I'd say against in a big game like this when you have to defend for your life. Trust me, Fred is a headache. We know him firsthand. Like Fred can man mark very well, right? And you're gonna miss him. I think you're gonna miss him. You're gonna miss him for this. I don't know. Right. So as I'm saying, pack the middle and try find the right winger. Keep Rashford on the left, and then the rest pray to God.
I respect you, Don Smoke, for bigging up Fred because I feel like I'm the only person that actually. I'm not saying that Fred is. I'm not saying he's the best midfielder in the world at all. But what I am saying is that like there's something that he did that no other Manchester United midfielder currently can actually do. Maybe Amrabat might be able to do it, I don't know. But
yeah, Amrabat will, man. Come on.
Well, hopefully.
He's tenacious, isn't it? We're swimming in the World Cup, isn't it?
He's tenacious, but is he a bug? Because Fred is a bug, man.
He is a bug. Come on, I've seen him play for Fiorentina as well, man. He's hacking at players. He doesn't let people settle, man.
No, wait. Eddie, you're missing my point. Do you remember Ander Herrera?
Yeah.
In a game where Jose made him man mark Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
Fred is a player who can do that for you. Time to forget about football. And you just make sure this guy, get him out of the game.
You don't think Amrabat can do that? Like,
no.
He's that kind of player. He
He
had
can't.
Let me. Well, let's.
Bro,
Let me.
he's from Africa. Like
you'll be too wrong.
I
You'll be
watch
too wrong.
Morocco. Eddie, I watch Morocco. Like I watch Morocco, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Africa, bro. And I'm telling you that
And
that's not the role Amrabat plays. Amrabat is a guy who takes the ball out, but he's not a guy who's not willing to play football. Like, no, forget out football and just mock someone. That's not Amrabat for you.
well, he can
Fred could do
tackle
that.
though. He can tackle. He can do a job
It's
in
not
there.
just about tackle.
And
You're missing my point.
And on the side, no, I'll counter
Sorry,
another
sorry.
point.
One second.
If we
One
got
sec.
more
One
people
second.
on the ball that can play, they
Let me
wouldn't
just.
be doing that old man marking stuff.
Let me just quickly just address this point because I've just seen this comment about Brighton, Villa, Arsenal, so deliver all better. They'll compete with you. The rest of United, Newcastle, Chelsea, Brendan, Weston will try first. Okay, first and foremost, people say this every single year about Brighton, Villa, Spurs, etc. And at the end of the day, I don't have any conversation about top four until the last 10 games this season. Because I even heard that Brighton Villa shout like last season as well, and it didn't work. City and Arsenal, fair enough, but let's have that conversation when we've got 10 or so games towards the end of the season, because at the end of the day, injuries happen, fatigue happens, runs happen, and it's if you were to go by the first 5 games of last season, you would have had Brighton, Villa, and even West Ham in the top 4 or 5. Like it just doesn't work like that.
Right, can I just make my point on Brian, because I've got to go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I was going to come to Eddie. So Eddie, you make your how would you set up? Go on.
So I like I said earlier, I like the way that Man United were playing with this 4-1-2-1-2. Yeah, I saw that they were more compact in midfield as well. Yeah, which we've not looked compact in midfield before this game for them 20 minutes anyway. It's something to build on. But the thing is, we're not confident now because of the was it 3-1 today? I forgot the score. 3-1, yeah.
3-1.
Yeah, that
1, 2, 3.
This is the thing. Wait, hold on. Let me just finish it. This is the thing. When you've got like these tactics you want to play that is dynamic, requires all these instructions that you got to do. It does require some confidence as well. So I can see Ten Hag just going back to this kind of counter-attack stuff where he has to absorb pressure and then we try and snatch a result. So I wouldn't go against him if he does that. But I would love to see just him try and just keep working on this formula because it's got potential. The front two, if Rashford can listen, yeah, and link up with that new striker, we already seen him finish when Rashford did pass to him. So that's got to be something to build up on, yeah? Because we've seen so many times where the forward up front is isolated. Yeah, with front two, you don't get that. You get link up play. So maybe you can still do this formation, yeah, but sit a bit deeper, yeah, and then you can still do a bit of countering because Haaland and Rashford got speed in behind. You can still have Bruno be a focal point in behind those two, yeah. Him putting balls over to Rashford and Haaland to get in behind. You have McTominay and Eriksen. I don't know who can come in for them, to be honest. The bench is looking awful. I don't see Mejbri being started against these guys. So maybe, McTominay and Eriksen to keep compact, keep next to Casemiro. Wan-Bissaka's got to come back in, definitely for the tackling and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, just to fuck that, man. Stop joking, yo. But anyway, just to finish off on
bro,
this,
like Eddie, you don't want to piss Maguire's mom. Don't say that.
No, yo. See, this is what I joke that is happening. This is what's distracting Ten Hag, all this bullshit. But anyway, final point, yeah, is Bayer Leverkusen, yeah, they play good football, but they're playing in this so-called Farmers League, finished 6th last season. We saw them, I'm sure you guys watched them go to the to Bayern Munich's arena and bop them off the park. They should have won that game, especially in the second half.
But they do that every single season, though.
But this is the Champions League, bro. This is the Champions League, bro.
Okay, but still, there's still potential that Man United could go there and get something because Bayern Munich, they're not shooting on all cylinders. I've just heard you guys talk about Tuchel not being good as well.
If United somehow get something from this result, let's keep it stacked. It'll be because of Tuchel. It'll be because Tuchel fumbled it or made some stupid tactical error, which he's known to do. So
and Ten Hag can out tactic this guy because I don't. Yeah, in terms of attacking, I don't think he's got them cooking, man.
I hope so because Ollie did
isolated
multiple times. But sorry, go on. I keep on Eddie. Go on.
No, I was just about finished there, but I'm saying we've got to just take some I was going to say confidence, but it's hard with the way we just lost.
Take Maguire's mom,
take
bro.
something. Stop talking about his mom, bro. Yo, you got to take something from the fact that Tuchel has not got these guys cooking. Yeah, they're not calibrated as well as they have been in previous seasons. There's got to be something to build on there. I don't think we should respect them that much, but confidence is down. So maybe, yeah, just counter-attack settings. But yeah, that's all I got to say on that, man.
Right. Okay. Let's run up, guys. It's been almost 2 hours. So, but thank you for those who are watching in the chat. We're obviously going to be we are going to be doing a match preview with for Bayern Now. Big up Bayern Now, man. So that'll be on Tuesday evening. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, he's sort of like Don Smoke. So I'm going to probably get cooked, and we're probably going to get cooked as well. So you know, it is what it is. But big up everyone in the chat. Really appreciate everyone who's supported, subscribing. We're almost at 4K as well, so thank you guys so much. Big up obviously Eddie and obviously Don Smoke. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on.
Yeah, you know, when United lose, I'm always available, bro.
Of course. Man. So yeah, it is what it is. We go again, unfortunately. Have a nice day, everyone, and cheers. Peace out, guys. Peace.
And don't forget, we're the hope of Manchester.